Good evening, good evening. Happy Thanksgiving or happy Thanksgiving to everyone. So today is, man, I don't understand this. Sorry, kind of a squirrel. So someone has suggested the other day that I start putting my lives out on Instagram as well. And for whatever reason, yeah, that camera, um, it's fuzzy. It's like really blurry. That's frustrating. Anyhow, not as important, but hope everyone had a great day. So for us, we choose to gather with our family. We choose to celebrate and be thankful for the things that are good in our lives, the things that we have. I mean, we have a home, we have a safe place to live. We have, we are relatively healthy, minus minus my hand, but just really appreciative of those things. And so I've been sharing lots of Thanksgiving type videos today. Unknowingly, I reshared Erin Janus's video about Turkey Day, how she explains the whole process, first off, of why we celebrate Thanksgiving, which is kind of a jacked up scenario in the first place. And then she talks about how the turkeys go from being bred to on our plate. And it's not a pretty picture. It's just not. So I shared that today, and so on Instagram, it was fine on Facebook. You're over here. Facebook's over here. It was fine on Facebook, but it was not good on Instagram. On Instagram, it was upside down. So everyone kept commenting, it's upside down, it's upside down. Yeah, I can't fix it. Unfortunately, Instagram doesn't give you that ability to edit something after you post it. So at least not an image of that nature. So I said, you know what? Maybe it's just karma. Maybe it's just karma saying eating animals is upside down. So it flipped the video upside down. It got lots of traction. I have shared it out before, so if you want to actually watch the video right side up, it is in my profile if you want to check those out. But it worked out quite well. But it was rather funny how that came to be. But happy give, thanks be giving. I like that. I like that. So we are live on YouTube in the middle, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So I appreciate everybody joining me. How did everyone's day go? Because I know across the vegan community, it can be difficult, especially if you're going somewhere that is not vegan friendly and you have to pick through sides and pick what options and um, see dead carcasses on the table, that kind of thing. I know that can be hard, especially when it's coming from friends and family. That can be very difficult. Hopefully, nobody had a difficult day. Rest in peace, Paul McCartney. Are you serious? So on TikTok, I just got a comment. Paul McCarthy. I have not seen that. Is that for real? Um, I don't think that's true. I don't see that anywhere. So I got, sorry, this is unrelated, but I've got a comment here that Paul McCartney is dead. I'm trying to confirm. Paul McCartney beat in 1960, replaced rumors circulated in 1967. I don't see anything. I don't see anything that says that. Yeah, I don't know if it like is. I don't see anywhere reporting that. Typically, something like that would be all over the news. So that's not funny if you're joking about that, but weird. Either that's like, where did you hear that from? So sorry for those just joining. Somebody just said that Paul McCartney just passed away at 81 years old in London. And he's 80, so maybe you're not accurate. maybe somebody. He's only 80. He won't be 81 until next June 18th. And there are no major news outlets are reporting this. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, so we'll carry on. So it seems like that is not accurate. So I'm not sure why. I'm not sure where you heard that or where that, but I don't see anything that corroborates that. So, yeah, it would be headline news if it was true. I agree. Weird. All right, so we'll go back to talking about Thanksgiving. So, did everybody have a good day? Anybody? How many people were able to supernatural vegan? How's it going? Joe the Vegan Raider. Awesome. I was invited to dinner, but I'll pass because the guy hates vegans. And I'm not going to be comfortable with usual jokes. I can fake it, but I pretend to protect my energy. Yeah, you know what? Annette, good evening. I think that is a great approach to make sure you protect your energy on that, especially if you know that someone is going to be Joe. I don't think that's true. Are you part of Raider Nation? Like, I was looking at your logo. It's like itty bitty on my screen, but hell yeah, that's cool. I used to love the Raiders when I was a kid when Bo Jackson played for them. So yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't know why someone would say that if it wasn't true, but that would have been all over the news. I agree. So I don't think that's. I had to skip out and check. Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I pulled up my feed, and that does not appear true. So I don't know why someone had said that, but I digress. So yeah, I wouldn't go to a Thanksgiving like that either. So we are very fortunate. So I am very fortunate that. Oh, weird. Speaking of weird, sorry. I went back to YouTube, and my image is clear now. I don't know. Anyhow, Jen, he's not dead. Yeah, I don't see anything on there, and he is not 81 years old. So whoever, whyever you would say that, not cool. Some troll, I guess. Yeah, maybe trying to derail our incredible Thanksgiving dinner I had today. So I shared out a video of our meal, just kind of pieced together some snippets of some of the food that we had, and like this plate. Just, I mean, it was huge. And then I got a second plate that was not as big, but I didn't need it. But man, it's so good. I am very fortunate that my wife and my wife's mom worked. They worked so hard to make sure we have a incredible meal as a family. So I really appreciate all they do. So there's a new movie out called Spirited with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. What really gets me there are post turkeys on their plate caption, "Thanks for blessing." Yeah, that's absolutely drives me crazy. So as thanks to my wife and to my thank you, Annette, and to it's your birthday today, Margaret. Happy birthday. Mine is on Saturday. That'll be the last day for Project 44. I will still continue to do lives. It won't be every day like I've been doing. But happy birthday to you. I hope you had a wonderful day. So my birthday falls on Thanksgiving from time to time. So I understand that too. So I thought to say thanks to my wife and to my wife's mom. In order to, I said, I'll take the kids home. I'll take the dogs out. You know, we can only stay so long because the dogs, you know, we can't leave them in the house too long, or it'll be it could be a mess when we get home, and it's not fair to them either. But so I said I'd bring them home. My wife, I asked my wife if she wanted to stay and watch Spirited with her mom, and she said, "Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much." Oh, that wasn't for me. You're all right. Sorry. Do your thing. Somebody said happy birthday, but she was saying happy birthday to Margaret. So Margaret's birthday's today. So happy Thanksgiving and happy birthday to Margaret. Let me see here a second. So I left my wife there, and then I came home, brought the kids home, got the dogs out, got them all squared away, and then I went back to finish the movie with them. And they loved it. If you haven't seen it already, so it's on Apple TV. Is that right? Yeah. Spirited. It's really enjoyable. It is a musical, and it's the story of A Christmas Carol. But it is it's fun. It's entertaining. If you don't like musicals, you won't like it. But I do. I'm okay with that. I thought it was really good, really well done. It's entertaining. There's funny stuff. They changed the story a little bit with Christmas Carol, and I don't want to give anything away, but it was really good, really worth watching. So to say thanks to my wife and to her mom for all that they did, I wanted to kind of give them that time. And if the kids were there, it's just it doesn't matter. Kids are kids. I can be thank you. I can be sitting in the same room as my wife, and the kids will go to my wife and be like, have a drink, and my wife doing something, and those little bastards will go to her and be like, can I have a drink, can I have a snack, whatever the case may be, instead of coming to me, who may or may not be doing anything at all. Like last musical movie I was into was Grease. Wow, that's been a minute. Our oldest son, he was in the musical Grease. They did that 2 years ago, and they did a really awesome job for a high school musical. They did a really good job. It was a lot of fun, and they really enjoyed that. So take care, my friend. I actually have to head to work after feeling sleepy eating all that vegan food. Well, be safe driving into work. Have a good one. Thanks for dropping in. So we had a really good day today. It's always good to see spend time with your family, assuming that you get along with them. So we're very fortunate that we had a completely vegan meal, and that started a couple years ago. So after our first vegan Thanksgiving, my wife had told her mom, we'd brought our own food, they had their food. My wife told her mom that it's kind of hard to sit down and enjoy a meal, especially when you're giving thanks. You're thankful for the things you have in your life and those kinds of things. It's hard to sit down and see animals that you've helped rescue, animals that you care about, animals that you spent time with at sanctuaries. It's hard to sit down and see those animals dead on the table and enjoy that. And she's technically my mother-in-law, but it's funny when my wife and I are talking about our parents. If we're talking about mom and dad, if I say mom, I'm talking about her mom. If I say my mom, we're talking about my mom. They just love us, and I appreciate them, and really, really appreciate them. But so mom said she gets it, and so from then on, we've had vegan Thanksgivings and birthdays, and when we go over for dinner, it's vegan. She's not vegan, but she no longer eats meat. So that generation is some of the most stubborn people on earth. But for her to make those changes, that she's no longer eating meat, that's pretty freaking awesome. And speaking of pretty freaking awesome, I just got notification that we got a donation for Project 44. That is also super awesome, because I have not received a donation in like 4 days. I was starting to feel like we were about done. I was really hoping. So we have Friday and Saturday to be able to raise as much as we can for Cows Come Home Sanctuary, which is what Project 44 is about. We talk about, have a good one, Richard. We talk about all kinds of things. If someone has questions and things, by all means, let's talk about it. The beautiful thing about being human is the body can survive on almost anything. Yes and no, but there are some things that are linked to unhealthier outcomes. Brianna, thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. I couldn't do this without you guys. So we are just over $1,600. We are $1,602. While that's a little short for our goal that I was hoping for, I really appreciate that support. Hopefully over the next 2 days, we can pick up some more and provide some more support for Cows Come Home Sanctuary, which ultimately is what this is about. Tomorrow, at some point, I need to talk to Randy to find out what her schedule is for tomorrow. We would love to go live. Maybe if she's not working tomorrow, I'm not working tomorrow. If she's not working tomorrow, maybe I can get her during the day, and she can be outside with the cows. And you guys, so unfortunately, TikTok can't, Facebook won't be able to, and YouTube won't be able to. But maybe I can go live on Instagram and then reshare that some of that back out to everybody, so you guys can check that out. But Instagram definitely will. We'll look into that. For 99% of our existence, we survived on mainly animal protein. So that's not wherever we gathered. So that's not an accurate statement. So a lot of there are so much research going into today that is showing that we didn't eat as much meat as we used to. So like my mother-in-law, she is a prime example. So, even while she grew up in a family, she was one of 10, and they had a very meager upbringing, one of 10. When she was in high school, so she graduated high school in 73 or 4, 1973 or 1974. When she was in high school, her family still didn't have running water. That's how meager we're talking about. Okay. So eating meat, eating animals was typically something that the wealthy did. She would tell you that they did not have meat very often because they couldn't afford it and they didn't raise their own. So there's lots of science going behind it, and the research is showing that we ate more fiber, more plants than we ate animals. They talk about how, it's, man, we could get into this conversation real quick. They talk about how they're finding fossilized feces, so poop, and they're doing endocrinology studies on it. I think that's the right word, that are showing that they ate a lot more fiber and a lot more plants than animals, and a lot more of those things than we previously thought. So while yes, it has played a role, that doesn't mean it's been the staple. Most families, like, they didn't eat meat at every meal like we do today, or not vegans, but that didn't start happening until you started seeing even in the 50s. And my dad, they came from a family of 6. He'll tell you they didn't have meat at every meal, and now you have meat and dairy at every freaking meal because that's what the government has told us that we're supposed to do. So this is only recent, and the jacked up part of that is, Simon, good afternoon. The jacked up part of that thing is, yeah, things changed when animal agriculture was discovered. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Things changed. You don't need to consume animals to survive. And saying that our ancestors, that if it wasn't for meat, they would have died, that's not accurate. That is not accurate. They're showing that again and again. Good morning to you, sir. That is not accurate. Things changed when agriculture was discovered. You're damn right. And the odd part about that is, so if you look at a picture of the beach or a pool, a public pool from, let's just say, 1950, there's probably not a single overweight person in that picture. So as a society, we have gorged ourselves, not just on meat, processed foods, processed sugars, everything's overly processed. So much sugar, it's ridiculous. And now you look at the amount of people that are obese or overweight, it's kind of frightening. But that does go in correlation with the things that have changed. It used to be that people used to families grew their own food. They had their own gardens and did those things. My mom has osteoporosis. They were told that to consume dairy, it's sad because it's shoved down. Yeah, Thank God I hated milk as a kid. It's crazy. Sugars are the culprit. Sugars are not the culprit. Sugars and whatever additives in processed foods are. That is, you'll get no argument out of me. That is a major problem. But you can't say sugars are the culprit. Okay. So even the meat you're eating today, unless you're hunting or raising your own, it's still processed. It's still processed. It's injected with hormones. It's injected with antibiotics. It's injected with, nitrous to make it appear red and fresh. Because what happens when someone dies? Their body starts decomposing. Animals are no different. They have to, from the minute they are slaughtered, they have to do things to make them last longer so they can be shipped and sold. Animal products. Animal products are a huge problem. There are studies linking the consumption of red meat, the consumption of bacon, which is a level 1 carcinogen, the same as asbestos and cigarettes. So don't say that sugar are the culprit and that, oh yeah, we should just be eating animals because our ancestors did. There's lots of things your ancestors did that you no longer do and no longer support. So you don't want to go down that path. I realize I've been eating too much peanut butter. I don't think there's such thing as that, Gina. I don't think that's a thing. So you talk about drinking too much milk, Jen. I used to drink a gallon of milk a day. You can ask my dad. Growing up through junior high, high school, and into college, I was a high level athlete, and I wrestled all through high school and college, and I would drink almost a gallon of milk a day. Gina, there are, so if you want to look at peanut butters, like that is a legitimate conversation to have. I love peanut butter. I love Jif creamy peanut butter, but that shit ain't good for me. There's a lot of sugar in that. So, and that's crazy. My brother stopped drinking orange juice because it had way too much. What? My brother stopped drinking orange juice because of the way it's made. Nut still eats animal. Oh my gosh. Some orange juice is not vegan. How crazy is that? Some orange juice is not vegan. Some alcohol is not vegan. Some wine, they use fish bladders and all kinds of cruel ass things. It's like man has thought up of so many damn ways to abuse and exploit animals. It's sad and ridiculous. It really is. But not. Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out where we're going with that conversation. Yeah, some chips, some potato chips. A potato chip. How do you screw that up, right? There are. Do you require vitamin supplements? So there is some debate over that. So most people. So I live in Ohio. Most everybody in Ohio is deficient in vitamin D. Everybody. I don't care what you consume. Most people are low on B12 as well, not just in Ohio, but everywhere. So B12, animals don't produce it. You don't get B12 because you eat a cow. B12 is a microbiome that's found on the ground. So as humans, we used to get enough of that through vegetables and things, but now both because of soil, I don't know if degeneration is the right word. Our soil is not as nutriently dense. And on top of that, when we go to the store and we buy, oh my God, I think Gina just made my day. Are you serious? I'll come back to that, Gina. If you go to the store and buy your vegetables, they've been so overwashed and bleached and sanitized that some of that CC, what's going on? Most of those, that vitamin B, all the dirt and stuff that we normally would consume is gone too. So most people, first off, I'd recommend anyone, I don't care what your diet consumes of. I don't care what your diet consumes of. You should have your vitamin D and vitamin B and your serum iodine checked. Chances are you're low on all three, unless you do take a supplement of some nature. So, Cows aren't grass fed. Yeah, generally not. And even if they are allowed to graze and grass fed, they're still supplemented with hay and other things, antibiotics. They're given B12 injections. Um, so cherry pie. So back to this. So Gina, holy crap. That doesn't mean they're healthy. Just we're on the same page. Found out that Hostess apple pies are vegan, accidentally vegan, and so are the cherry pies. Interesting. I did not know this. My wife and I, we always just, yeah, B12 comes from the ground, 100%. I work outdoors. I live in Texas, so I'm okay. Yeah, I can understand that. So in Ohio, year round, we don't get enough sun. It's not warm enough. So if you're working outside, yeah, I would say your D probably is good, but it would not hurt to have it checked. But I would have your B12 checked, unless you're eating right off the ground. I would have. So the next time, do you have your like cholesterol and stuff checked like once a year? If you do, I would request to make sure that your B12 is checked. And while they're doing it, it doesn't take another test. So do your B12 and do your D just so you know where you're at. There are some. Um, Texas is hard for vegans. Yeah. Um, barbecue, the home of barbecue, and yeah, it's that Texas has got to be tough, no doubt. What was I talking about? If you have your stuff checked, I would check your vitamin D. So most people don't. And there's some research going into some things like dementia and Alzheimer's. One of the factors of that can be low vitamin D levels. So like here in Ohio, we see that a lot, and it's sad. If you've been vegan for more than 5 years, your B12 might be low. I'll consider it. No, like, yeah, and like I understand that. I understand that we have a difference of opinion, and that's fine. And I appreciate the conversation. I grew up hunting and fishing my whole life, so don't take it as I don't know how the other side lives, because that's how I lived probably 36 years of my life. I do consume those green supplements made of algae and other greens. That is very important. Depending on which one, you may want to see what's in those as far as any supplements for you. But it would be a good idea to have your serum iodine level checked, as well as your B12 and your D level. It's just, my doc has told me for years, coming from a yearly checkup, that everybody should be taking a vitamin D, especially this is in Ohio. So obviously, if you're working outside in Texas, I would say you're probably getting your more than your fair share of vitamin D. But it still would be good to have it checked, man, just so you can take better care of yourself. That would be important. So vegans and non-vegans need to take B12. Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about, right? It used to be that you could get it naturally, but they give cows B12 injections because they don't even get enough from the ground now. Vegan here almost 12 years. My B12 is just fine. D is low, but I was also an omnivore. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure where you live, Sarah, but that is a huge concern. I was a huge animal consumer for 32 years, 16 years vegan. Awesome. Deficiency B12 can be dangerous. It can be in animals as well, which is one of the reasons why they give them a B12 shot. So, like vegans get picked on because of B12, but most people's B12 is low anyway. At least in the it may be within range, but it's on the low end of range. So I had not been good about taking my supplements, and then until a couple months ago, when I really started watching what I was eating and what I was consuming, I got back on a kick. So back on a kick of taking my D3 and B12. I've been vegan since I was 6 years old. I'm now 46. I live in Australia. Hot dog. That is awesome. Sharon. So over on Facebook, we have another comment. So just so if anyone's new to some of my lives, we are live on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And over on Facebook, Sharon Said, I've been vegan since I was 6 years old, and now I'm 46. I live in Australia. That is awesome. I love hearing stories like that. So you were vegan when it wasn't easy. um, I have lots of meat eating clients that are low on vitamins. Yeah, and that's the thing. You talk about lots of meat eating clients who are low on vitamins, and you can probably, as a hairstylist, you can probably see that. I typically consume meat 3 times a week. About 60% of that meat is fish. Uh, you know, Obviously, as a vegan, I'm against animal cruelty, no matter what the species is. Um, have you ever checked out the documentary called Seaspiracy? What we are doing to not just fish, the animals, the other sea life that they catch and destroy. I'm not going to give you some sensationalist claims. There are some people that think that we are going to overfish our oceans and they are going to be empty by like 2030, 2040, something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay. But I do know that it's still freaking cruel to fish and the other animals that are caught in their nets and their. Check out the documentary Seaspiracy. I get it's a documentary and I get it's slanted one way. But with any documentary that you ever check out or any study you read, whether medical or anything else, see who's paying for that study. That will tell you which way it may be slanted. So, for instance, it took the U.S. Surgeon General over 7,000 independent studies before they would put a warning label on cigarettes, because Philip Morris kept funding their own studies that showed, oh, it's okay, it's healthy, like no problem. Years later, COPD, lung cancer, emphysema, the list goes on and on and on. So, but check out Seaspiracy. It may help change your mind a little bit. Maybe something to consider. But definitely, bud, I would, and this is for anybody. If you have not had your B12D, your serum iodine levels checked within the last year, be a good idea to do that at least once a year. Do you have your phone on Do Not Disturb? I sent you a message. No. I didn't see it. Sorry. Ew. That's a party foul. Sorry, we're gonna have a side conversation with my wife. I'm against that, but I will defer to you. I think it's a bad day to be out. I'll let you make that decision, but don't wake me. All right, so we got some other comments here. No, it's not on. It's on vibrate, and I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I love you. Let me see here. Someone once asked if I'll ever cheat and the way I eat. No, it's not. Veganism isn't a diet. It's an ethical lifestyle choice. So you want to avoid animal cruelty and exploitation in all forms possible. So yeah, wildlife is on the verge. Yes, wildlife is on the verge of extinction. Some of our sea life is. My problem with vegan is mainly the fact that it costs too much. All right, so that is also something else that I hear a lot. And so I have 7 kids. 5 are still at home. Is that right? Yeah. Sorry, I got 2 daughters that are out of the house already. Vegan food can be expensive if you focus on Beyond Burgers, the replacement cheeses, the vegan cheeses, and some of the other processed foods. It can be, but if you focus on lentils, beans, fruits, vegetables, pastas, there are so many things that you can do that are very inexpensive and still healthy for you and still tasty and delicious. Because, like, dude, I love food. If you would, so when you get done with this, people are like, well, what do vegans eat for Thanksgiving? The last video I have up on my TikTok, when you're done, if you would just check it out and see if it looks like food you would eat. There are so many things you can do, but yeah, vegan food can be expensive if you are. So maybe if you had some of those products a couple times a week versus nightly, like if you were doing Beyond Burgers every night, yeah, that's going to be expensive. There's no knocking that. But if you were having steaks every night, that would be expensive, right? So, but if you focus on whole foods more than processed crap, it's very doable. It's very sustaining. One of the big ways you can save money and it helps your health is to stop drinking sugary bullshit. I like Coke every now and then, I do, but drink water. It's a hell of a lot cheaper, and it's better for you. I still can't get over that comment, Sharon. That's awesome that you've been vegan since you were 6, so 40 years. Fish may come from overseas, carry parasites. Yeah, the fishing industry as a whole is terrible. I'm trying to catch up on a couple comments here. Overfishing is massive. My province in Canada has settled on the cod fishery 2 years ago. Stop overfishing of international fishing. Our local fishing industry suffered. Yeah, it's hard. Processed food is expensive. Faux meats, junk food. Yeah, absolutely. Vegan food. So veganism is much more than just a diet. So when it comes to veganism, the explanation when someone asks me, what does veganism mean to you? Or what is veganism? I always say that veganism is an ethical lifestyle choice to reduce and eliminate animal cruelty and exploitation from your life. It's pretty simple when you look at it like that. So it's not a diet. Obviously, when people talk about veganism, food is probably the first thing they talk about. But we don't support other things. I love your attitude and your approach to veganism. I'm subscribing. I appreciate that. If you ever like I said, check out, I'm going to send you a follow. That way, if you ever want to reach out for something, you got questions, something you want to try, even if I get if you're not ready to, jump 2 feet in, if you have a question, be like, hey, what do you guys do for taco night? Fucking taco night's one of our favorites. And that is a night that we use. My wife will either use Impossible or Beyond Burger taco seasoning, just like anybody else would. And we've got all the fixins. Like it's just, it's not as hard as people think. It can be a change. And it's funny. So I got a guy that works for me that you'll appreciate the story. So he grew up in South Texas. He came in for an interview. And I'm sitting there, and I said, one of the first things I do in a job interview is forget work, I want to know a little bit about you. I want to know kind of what you're into, what kind of things, what do you like to do outside of work, kind of what makes you tick a little bit. And this guy starts telling me, so I'm in there with another manager of mine. And if you have questions, dude, drop me a message, like hit me up. I will be happy to help you in any direction I can. But one of my managers is sitting next to me, and so he's telling me about it. He grew up in South Texas, and he's like, I love smoking meat, I love barbecue, I love grilling, I love Wagyu beef, and starts going through all this crap. And I'm just letting him go. And my friend, who's my other manager that's with me, she is sitting here just waiting because she fucking knows. She knows. She knows exactly. And so this is sitting on my desk. So I carry this hydro flask around everywhere I go. This is sitting on my desk, like poof, right in front of him. And so I just pick it up and I slowly take a drink so he can see like the logo. And I said, well, that's, I try to rescue some of those animals. And so then we started the conversation, but he got the job anyway. But it's just funny. So yeah, if you have questions, by all means, I'm borderline vegetarian, so I hope to transition at some point. All right, that's great to hear, my friend. I would be happy to help you any way I can, whether it's resources or some things to get started. So I know I know people are chastised or judged. Like, it doesn't make you any less of a man by being kind to animals. It, to me, it makes you more of a man because you're defending, standing up for principles and ethics. Um, that's kind of why the name the vegan sheepdog. I will defend my herd, my flock, my family, 100%. So that's my mentality. That's the way I was raised. That's the way I feel, and I live that in every fiber of my being. If you saw someone out front of your house, if you saw someone out front of your house beating a dog, I'm gonna whoop somebody's ass. So I'm gonna put a stop to that. Well, to me, there's no difference in if someone was beating a cow or beating a pig or beating a sheep. There's no need for it. So um, that's just me. And I would imagine if you saw someone abusing an animal out in front of your house, you do the same thing. You saw me on the National Dog Show. I was not on the National Dog Show. Hang on just a second. I got some comments. Sharon over on Facebook again, 40 years vegan. That's awesome. It wasn't easy because my parents tried to trick me, but I was stubborn and pig-headed. Holy shit. You did this on your own? Oh my gosh. God love you making that connection at 6. I thought you were going to say that your parents raised you that way. Freaking awesome, Sharon. That is awesome. We have a friend in Australia, Bella's Vegan Adventures. Check out her stuff on no, she's not on Facebook. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, check out Bella's Vegan Adventures. My Thanksgiving was eventful. Out of 20 dishes available, you can only have one. Damn. Check out the video and see how many I had. My latest video on TikTok. Christine, good evening. How are you? My latest video on TikTok was our meal today, and it's just short snippets of everything. It's nothing fancy. I'm not fancy. I don't do fancy. I would if I thought it would help, but saw me on the National Dog Show. Even Meatless Mondays is a positive thing in my book. So Sarah brings up a good point, right? So there are some vegans that disagree with Meat-Free Monday. To me, Meat-Free Monday is a great introduction saying, hey, try this. So if lots of restaurants, they have, meat-free options. So you can try them on Mondays and get a discount, right? To introduce someone to something new, that's a great first step. But that's the key. Meatless Monday will not solve the problem, but Meatless Mondays is a good step, as long as it turns into Meatless Tuesdays and then Meatless Wednesdays and then Meatless everything, right? Oh, I'm fighting sneezing. Hang on a second. Oh my gosh. I'm not supporting the fishing industry. The government doesn't listen. Yeah, that's not good at all. I'm catching up on a couple comments here. Give me just a minute. Just shopping produce pumpkins, $60. Then I'll add almond milk. You can make almond milk. Absolutely can make almond milk. Exactly. I'm an ethical vegan. It gives a push to explore. Yeah, I agree. So there's another debate. Okay, so inside the vegan movement, right? You have, to me, there are 3 pillars. To me, it's like a triangle. Okay, at the peak of that triangle, so up here, veganism is about the animals. I will argue with someone till I'm blue in the face. Veganism is about the animals. Okay, reducing and eliminating animal cruelty and exploitation from your life in all forms possible. The top of the triangle is the animals. This one over here, the environment, and the other side of that triangle is health. So there are people that come to this movement for different reasons. There are some people that come here directly for the animals. That's where I came from. That's why I'm fat. That's why I'm a little overweight, but I'm working on it. I can fix that. There are some people that come to this movement from a fitness or health standpoint because they've had some kind of scare. So if you look at Mark Ramirez he grew up in South Texas. he moved to Chicago and then was recruited to play football at the University of Michigan back in 86, I think, 86, 87, 88, 89. He played with Jim Harbaugh. How cool is that? His family struggled with diabetes. They're Hispanic. Their diet destroyed their lives, and he watched his mother suffer and die after blindness. He had siblings suffer and die and have amputations because of diabetes. And then so he was struggling, and he'll tell you, he was struggling with erectile dysfunction. He was struggling with high blood pressure. He was struggling with diabetes himself, and he was on medications every day. And finally, his wife was like, we need to do something. And so they started their journey, and they went whole food, plant-based. Within 2 months, he was off all of his medications. He's lost a ton of weight, feeling great, feeling better. And then they made that ethical connection. Because again, veganism is an ethical stance. But they came into this because of the health aspects. There are other people that come into this from an environmental standpoint. They are seeing the impacts of animal agriculture. They're seeing the impacts of what we're doing to our planet. And then they make that ethical connection to the top of the pitch about the animals. We need to welcome those people. Instead, there are some vegans that want to fight those people. If you are whole food plant-based, that's awesome. If you're a junk food fucking vegan, that's awesome. Leave the animals alone. I don't care why you're here. I'm just glad that you're not exploiting animals. Now, there are some people who they eat plant-based. That doesn't mean they're vegan. They haven't made that ethical connection yet. They may still wear leather. They may support other things. So there is an important distinction there, but I want to welcome anyone that wants to be kind to animals in all facets of their life that they can. Because at some point, if they make that ethical connection for the animals, top of the pyramid, right? That's so important. The other cool part is, so if you're vegan, there are 3 points to this pyramid. I wish this hand worked a little better. I could probably do a little better pyramid. If you're vegan for your health, that impacts the animals and it impacts the environment. If you're environmentalist and you want to be vegan, that obviously impacts the environment, impacts the animals, and impacts your health. You can't impact one without impacting the others. Like they're all tied. So while veganism is about the animals, there are some wonderful benefits if you take care of yourself from a health standpoint, obviously an environmental standpoint. That is huge. Patty's Pity, what's happening? I drink iced soy coffee, very creamy. Yeah, that is very good. Cleaning up, just saw you were live, wanted to come on and say hi. Thankful for you on this Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. We had a vegan Thanksgiving. That's awesome to hear. Cat Talk Official. That's a cool name for TikTok. Cat Talk. So somebody suggested the other day that I start streaming this on YouTube as well. I have no watchers. None. Just a side note, sorry. It's kind of like a squirrel. Kind of. Not a very big squirrel. Little squirrel. Maybe a little chipmunk. I think the other day I did it and I had like 2 people. And the funny part is it's not like we get a ton of people. We got 7 live on TikTok, 9 on Instagram, and we have Sharon rocking it out. So, David Mink, what's happening, my friend? Vegan Thanksgiving at the Mink's house in Knoxville. Love you, brother. I hope you guys are doing well. Tell your beautiful wife we said hello. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Just awesome. Thank you for jumping on here. Thank you. Dude, that's awesome. David. Sometimes you meet people that you've never known. And sometimes people come into your life, just like Rick and Randy came into our lives. We've made some incredible friends on this journey. And David and Becky Mink are just some freaking incredible people. Love them like they are family and really appreciate them who they are. So thank you for saying that. And I love that you guys had a vegan Thanksgiving. Gosh, that's awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Sometimes you just meet people and it's like they've been part of your life forever. You may not get to talk all the time as much as you'd like or see each other as much as you enjoy, but God, We've met some really, really good people from here. We also ran a 5K for an animal sanctuary, vegan for the animals. That's awesome. Which sanctuary? Greetings from Valparaiso, Chile. Wow. All right. I don't know that I've ever had anyone check in from Chile before. That's really cool. We had a gentleman on earlier. He is from Sweden. He was on. We've got friends from Australia. We've got Sharon on Facebook from Australia. Technology is so cool to be able to bring people together, to be able to have these conversations. So I've been doing this series, Critter Creek in Gainesville, Florida. All right, nice. We were I went to visit my daughter in Valdosta, Georgia. And while we were there, we went over and saw, we went over to Flying Pig Sanctuary. So we, at that point, I don't know how far Gainesville is from there, but we couldn't have been too terribly far, I don't think. I could be wrong. Florida's a big state, so is Georgia. They're just outside of Cairo, Georgia. I said Cairo, and they looked at me like I had two heads because it's Cairo. Not sure if I ever said it. Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Awesome. I did not know you were in Canada as well. Thanks for letting me know. If anyone else wants to let me know where you're checking in from, if I don't already know, or you know what, drop it in there anyway, because you may find someone that lives close to you. So how close is Hamilton, Ontario to Newfoundland? A few hours, I think. We're at the top of Florida. Yeah, so funny. So we were in Georgia, but it brought us down into Florida to come back up to Cairo. Here. So dun, 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 dun. I got accused of doing that the other day, and I don't remember doing that, but apparently it's a thing. When I pull up my laptop to look something up. So Cairo, Georgia. I want to know how far you are. Are you familiar with Flying Pig Sanctuary, by the way? A few hours. Gainesville, Florida. 2 hours and 36 minutes. Oh, Gainesville's farther south than I thought. For some reason, I thought you were over in the Handle a little more. I should freaking know. I lived in Orlando for about a year. Never heard of it. Okay, so Flying Pig Sanctuary. They're a small sanctuary, but they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, Cairo, Georgia, which is about an hour from Valdosta. But Hamilton is a 2-hour flight. Okay, so that's a little far. It's not like you guys could meet up for coffee or tea or something. But man, we've met some cool people all over this world. Like I said, we've got people we've connected with in Australia. We've got people that we've connected with all over the place. Yeah, that'd be a little far to meet up for coffee or tea. But it'd be neat if someone said, "Oh, I'm in Knoxville. I'm in Knoxville." And it's like, that could be cool. We can't ever have too many vegan friends, right? Especially it's cool when when you have people that are close together. No, but if you're ever in New Jersey or New York area, Catskill Animal Sanctuary is heaven on earth. I have read and heard really good things about the Catskills. Would love to visit someday. Definitely on our list. Thanks for being an advocate. It's so important. All of our voices matter because we all have different experiences and we share that experience different. One of the things I talk about regularly is sharing that experience with others, because people are going to relate or are going through the same things that you may be struggling with, the same challenges, and maybe something you share helps someone else through that. So something to think about. It's going to take all of us. So for those of you who are new to joining my lives here, this series for Project 44 is a birthday fundraiser for a very important sanctuary in Tennessee. I'm TT/SM. I'm not sure what that is. Illiterate. Or I'd post vegan content. I'm not sure what that is. Is that something you can explain on here enough, or Gina, where are you at again? So this is a birthday fundraiser for a sanctuary in Tennessee. TikTok. Okay. I was thinking it was something more serious. So TT and SM illiterate is TikTok and social media illiterate. That's a funny. That's a funny haha. It's really like even if you're reposting other people's stuff just to get started. Like if you see something that resonates with you, share it. Dallas area. I don't. I would be shocked if there's not. Um, I'd be shocked if there's not, but there's not one that I'm aware of. I'd be shocked if there's not. But so this is 100% for Project 44. It is a sanctuary in Tennessee. It's harder to, I mean, you can repost stuff on TikTok just by doing repost and it just shares it out to the people that follow you. But to create your own content's not terrible, but not terrible, but Instagram's a little easier to be able to share and put, repost content from folks that you like. Cows Come Home Sanctuary was a multi-generational cattle farm. They would breed, raise, and sell animals for profit. Have a good one, Sarah. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. And I wanted to do something for them because they're transitioning from 2017 into 2018, where they became a sanctuary, is very powerful. Being that this property was a multi-generational cattle operation, and now it is a sanctuary, is such a place of healing. It is a powerful place. So Rick grew up on this property. Okay, this is big. Rick grew up on this property, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing this, but he texted me today. Let me find it. Rick Gentry, right here. Rick texted me today. He says, "Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Was thinking earlier this morning how sad so many turkeys will be slaughtered just to get a meal. And that would be half eaten and the rest would be thrown in the trash. I wish everyone would wake up and realize that all these creatures have feelings, friends, and things they really enjoy, just like humans. But they have much more sense than humans. Sorry, it just pisses me off." This is a man who raised cows with his dad to send to slaughter. He would get attached to these animals and he would tell them, he'd drop them off at the sale barn and say, it'll be okay. Knowing it wouldn't, knowing what's going to happen to them, these animals trusted him. He would lay out in the field with them. And then finally, one cow changed his perspective completely. Rick is a mountain of a man from Tennessee. He's 6'4". I mean, he is just a giant man. And he's got the biggest freaking heart like that I know. He has come a long way. He has come a long way, and it's very powerful to hear this transition. So for my birthday, I wanted to do something for others. I wanted to do something of service. So I started a GoFundMe. This GoFundMe is set up that 100% of all the donations goes directly to Cows Come Home. They are a nonprofit organization, so 100% of anything you donate. So if you can only afford $5, donate $5. Across this community, if half of the people on my platform saw it and made a $5 donation, we could have a huge impact for them. So they still have 51 cows that will live out the rest of their lives on this sanctuary. They will live out the rest of their lives on this sanctuary. I'm not aware of another sanctuary that has as many cows. And if they do and were rescued and things, they probably don't know who the cows are the way that Rick and Randy do, because they bred and raised these cows. They know the lineage and history of all of these cows, whose moms, whose dads, whose grandmas and grandpas, and whose kids. And it's incredible. I've been sharing their stories. I've been talking about the things that they've witnessed. So, when they lose a family member, cows will line up to say goodbye one by one, just like we would. That's powerful to see that. They acknowledge that loss of life as we would. Most people don't have that relationship with cows that they've experienced that. It's hard. Knowing where a cow's going must have killed him. He said so he's a big man. He'll tell you right now. He said he'd get back in the truck, and get all teary-eyed, but then he knew that what his dad had told him, what those animals are here for. And while it didn't sit with him, he did what his dad told him to do. And then one night he put a cow up in the barn. So this was this was how things went. The night before, they would bring the cow into the barn that they were going to take to the sale barn. They'd keep him in the barn so he wouldn't be out in the field, out in the pastures, and wouldn't have to chase him down. All night he cried, and his mom cried for him. He was about 18 months old. Later, he became known as the mayor. The next morning, Rick went out to go load him up, to put him in the trailer, to take him home, or take him to the sale barn. And when he entered the barn with this cow that knows him, loves him, and trusts him, he kind of buried his head into Rick's side, into his chest, almost to say, you ain't gonna do this. There's another way. And so Rick kind of grabbed his head and just held on to him a minute and hugged him. Then he opened the barn doors and said, go on, you're go on, you ain't going anywhere. So then he went back into the house to talk to Randy and told Randy, I can't do it. I can't do it. So Randy initially thought, that's awesome. That's the beginning. She thought, that's awesome that he made, because he's attached there. She thought this could be her opportunity. And then she thought to herself, this isn't that opportunity. This is the opportunity where I can get all of them. She says, well, we could stop sending the cows to the sale barn. She goes, I could start a sanctuary. And he goes, well, how about that? And she says, but you got to give them to me. You have to donate all of them. She says, I want the mamas, the dads, and the babies. I want them all, and you will donate them to me. And Rick said, okay. That's that story is one of my favorite stories on God's green earth. To be able to make that connection, to be able to make that choice, and to be able to change what you're doing, pretty freaking awesome. So I wanted to do something to help them. They have 51 cows that they have to feed. I know things are tight. I know things are tough. But imagine if you had 51 cows you had to feed. How tight would that be? How tough could that be? They both work full-time jobs, and then they work full-time taking care of the sanctuary. It's crazy, right? What really boils my blood is people who think animals are here because the Bible says so. Yeah, well, I can use the Bible to cherry pick certain things out that make it seem like they're not. So being raised of Christian faith, so Genesis 1:29 talks about in the beginning that we were given all the plants and seeds and nuts to be and fruit to be thy meat. Okay, so in the Garden of Eden, man and woman, this is something kind of cool. So if you hear some Christians saying that, oh, wives should be subservient, wives should do this, women should be this way, fuck that. Women should be able to do whatever the hell they want. The Bible actually talks about how man and woman were created in God's image, not just man. So there's no hierarchy as far as one that should be better than the other. In the Garden of Eden, humans did not consume animals. It wasn't until we were expelled from the garden and then sin that they started consuming animals. That's pretty freaking powerful, right? It wasn't until after that. And then later in the Bible, in different stories, other people say, oh, this was said and that was said. But, if you want to go back to the beginning, right? And let's be honest, we can talk about that book. It's been translated and twisted into, I don't have a religious degree. God created man, then he had a better idea. He figured I could do better. Yeah, you'll get no argument out of me in that. None. I'm not gonna argue that. Yeah, in the beginning we were intended to be vegan. Yeah, we were intended to, we were all created in the image of God according to religion, right? And we're not going to get into, there are lots of different religious things out there. So why do they say women not to talk in church? That's because men were the only ones that were allowed to translate the Bible. They said so. King James had to approve the Bible, and there are books like the Book of Enoch, for example. Google that shit. You want to spin your skirt a little bit. There are books that are not in the Bible. There are books of that time that are not currently in the Bible because King James wouldn't approve it. They've never been translated into English. There's so much history behind some of this stuff. It's crazy, like documented proof of some of this stuff. And it's like, well, that's not the whole story then, right? The other thing, when they start talking about the Bible in particular, the book of Revelations, so in the beginning of the Bible, it says we didn't eat the animals. At the end of the Bible, so the book of Revelations, it says that the lion will lay with the lamb. And, things will return to what it was supposed to be. And again, it goes back to that, how it was. So if the beginning of the Bible says we should be this, and in the end of the Bible it says we should not be eating animals, why don't we just go ahead and live that way now? So that's usually how I kill that argument real quick. So you have a degree in religious studies of some nature. Buddhists are normally vegan. There's so many different, there's no way God would be okay with animals being tortured. Yeah, I 100% agree. If we were meant to eat animals, if we were meant to consume them, why did he make them to suffer? The crazier part is none of the animals that are alive today existed at that time. Like cows and chickens are not the cows and chickens that were then. They've been selectively bred and, produced to be giant men. Like it's crazy. So not exactly. Some are. Most, some kind of monk eat whatever's given to them. Many are vegetarian as Hindus. Yeah. I have a degree in religious studies. That's cool. I didn't know that, Jen. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, but it's easy to debunk that. It's easy to get around that. So, well, listen, we have today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Saturday is my birthday. Super excited about it. We have a football game to watch on Saturday. Michigan is playing Ohio State, and really excited about that. And we're having everybody over for my birthday and for the football game. It'll be a good time, and we're gonna have an awesome vegan spread. Like it's like Thanksgiving on crack 2.0 or something. Like it's gonna be great. My mom is bringing Go Blue. That's what I'm talking about right there. Hell yes. You know what? You get a follow for that, just for that, literally. I am all over that. I knew I liked you. Go Bucks. I'm in Ohio, and I get your ass out of here. You're going to need a friend to help you spell Ohio anyway. I always hear the OH, and it's like, it's only 4 letters. Is it really that hard? It's going to be a great game. I hope it's going to be a great game. It's going to be shitty weather. They're calling for rain and ugly and whatever, but you're welcome, Gina. Always happy to help. So we're excited about that. I'm a Wolverine and definitely watching the game. That's awesome. So were you on earlier when I talked about Mark Ramirez, who played for University of Michigan? So he texts me like during the game. We'll be texting each other like back and forth, like, "Oh my God, like God, they better, he's awesome." But yeah, he played back in the late '80s. He played with Jim Harbaugh, so which is pretty cool, especially now that he's the head coach. So we're gonna have an awesome spread. My wife is making vegan sliders that are like, these things are freaking incredible. They've got caramelized onions and on top of Beyond Burgers with a provolone cheese. I forget which kind she makes. I want to say it's Daya, but I could be wrong. Those are awesome. She's making vegan. You would call them pigs in a blanket, but obviously there's no pigs in those blankets. We use some Smart Dogs and cut those up and put them in a crescent roll type thing, and those are always good. My mom is bringing a giant bowl of, or a giant crock pot of Italian wedding soup with vegan meatballs, and like my mother-in-law is bringing chips and salsa from a place here that we really love. And it's just, we're going to sit down, we're going to enjoy time together. I appreciate they're coming over for my birthday. We're going to watch the football game, of course, and just have a good time. So really, really excited about that. But Saturday is the end of my fundraiser. So I had a goal of $4,400, and we're not, unless I am spoiled. I am one lucky son of a bitch. I am married to a very beautiful, strong, talented woman who, much better than I deserve. One of my friends the other day, I'd posted a picture of us on my personal Facebook page from a wedding we went to, and my wife is a knockout, and she's wearing this dress that is just like, whoo, make any man weak in the knees. One of my friends said, "Son, looks like you married up." I said, "Yes, sir, I did." There's another saying, you outkicked your coverage. So it's a football analogy, meaning that there's only so far you should have went, but I went above and beyond and did better. So no question, I married up. Like I love this woman. And where's the link to the fundraiser? So if you check out the link in my profile, it'll take you directly to it. Thank you for asking that. We'd get there in a minute, but I'm bragging on my wife. I love my wife. And I am spoiled. You are right, Annette. So I will go live tomorrow once or twice if I can. And then Saturday, maybe once or twice, just try to spread some more awareness for this, for Project 44. What you cook for Thanksgiving. So I didn't. I consumed. If we were grilling out, I would have done it. But I put up a video on TikTok and on Instagram and Facebook what our meal was. It's just kind of video snippets of our meal. And then the last one is like my plate, my ridiculous ass full plate. But yeah, I am spoiled. You'll get no argument on me in that. So I'm looking forward to it. But if you haven't already, check out the link in my profile. Make a donation, $5 across this community. If everyone joined together and made a donation, or two things. If you make a donation, anyone that makes a donation will be registered. So this is a brand new 32-ounce hydro flask, customized with Cows Come Home and the Vegan Sheepdog. I'm going to draw one winner to say thanks. I went out and bought this. So Project 44 was 44 days leading up to my 44th birthday. This was $44. One of our dear friends, I eat and pass out afterwards. Yeah, I'm on the same page there. I passed out before. I took a little siesta before as well. Like pregame, I had to prep for this shit. You got me thinking about what I had for food. The video is up on my TikTok and everywhere else. But check out the link in my profile. Make a donation. If everyone across this platform that saw this, they made a $5 donation, we could have a huge impact. If you can do more, great. That's awesome. It's much appreciated. 100% of everything you donate goes directly to Cows Come Home Sanctuary. And because of them being a small sanctuary, 100% of what you donate is going directly to feeding and providing care for these animals. So they have 51 residents, cows that are part of their herd. They have one horse they lost in the past, 2-3 months. They lost 2 senior horses. One was 36 years old, Cheyenne, and that was hard for them. And they've been laid to rest on their property. And these animals are going to have sanctuary for the rest of their lives, and then their final resting place will be on this property where almost all of them were born. So it's very unique. It's very different. It's very special. So I hope you guys will check that out. And I thank you guys very much. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving as I did. I'm going to jump off here. It is 10:30 p.m. I appreciate you guys very